Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It was a bit of a tight-knit game at the start, but we hit the 20-minute mark. Afreeca Freecs got a 20-minute Baron, and it all just unraveled from there. ROX Tigers were able to kind of stave them off very lightly, stopping them from getting that pre-30-minute finish, but in the end, they were just way too far behind. 11-1 as far as the tower is concerned. 3 Barons taken by the Afreeca Freecs, and, well, yeah, they just kind of bopped them.
I mean, bop just one way to talk about it. It's too much of a stroll to me. It felt like Afreeca were just strolling, playing with their food. You always felt like they would eventually win, and they did. There wasn't really any resistance. It wasn't quite a white flag, but ROX Tigers draft, I think, let them down in this game. See who the MVP is. I think Tucson has a chance of actually reclaiming first spot solo
possession, yeah,
in the rankings, but it will be Kuro who actually joins his teammate. 7-0-5, 100% kill participation. If the numbers are big enough, it's hard to argue with Kuro joining his teammate Tucson, Deft, and Peanut. That is certainly the class of players at first spot and looking to go back-to-back. First time that was ever done was by Smeb, his old teammate in 2016.
I feel when Faker's only 1 win behind and he's in 5th place. But yeah, Kassadin, bit of a riskier pick, but able to work out. Comes away from the one fight at the beginning with a triple kill, and then just goes on to wreak havoc.
If you watch a lot of his fights, though, a lot of his kills are secure, let's say, as he just kind of waits, and that is how you play Kassadin, but this was not the hard carry Kassadin performance you were looking for. He went a very tanky build just to be a backline threat, and then ended up getting a lot of kills, getting a lot of last hits. His damage dealt numbers were not massive, but he played his role. He did his thing. Hard to argue with the MVP. I personally went for Tucson. Zonius there was sick, though. Stopwatch, I should say. That was before the Zonia was complete. And then eventually all the scaling meant there was nothing ROX Tigers could do.
Yep, fearless performance there from Kuro. Just diving in relentlessly underneath turrets into enemy vision. Still just walking away there with his life at the end. So very well done by the Afreeca Freecs, and ROX Tigers are already talking about it potentially going 0-4 here on the week. We'll see if they can turn things around for game number 2. The Fiora never really did anything.
Fair, and that was kind of what we predicted from Champ Select. If they go 0-4, that would mean 0-4 SKT and 0-4 ROX when it comes to these final spots in the top 5. Suddenly KSV may be pushing as high as 4th and side selection in the wildcard match. So right now it seems to be struggles trying to close the race when it comes to playoff spots. No substitutions, we're straight over to game number 2.
No more delays, just going to go right back into it. So Mowgli earning himself yet another game here on Summoner's Rift. See what he is going to be looking for this time out. Saw the Zac ban away from him in game 1, but if he can get his hands on it, game number 2, I think he'd be more than happy to take that up. For now, GP going to be the first thing banned, however.
See if ROX Tigers are willing to first pick Sion, because Afreeca Freecs will lock it in as a flex pick. They were able to do that on blue side. I believe they will return to it on red, so we'll see what ROX wants to do. Feels like Silent is a blue side ban or a blue side first pick. Otherwise, the headaches do roll. But now, though, just the Galio taken away. A lava special. Kuro, another big fan of it, so sadly, no Galio in this series. We saw no 80 carries ban, surprisingly, in our first series, and we might see them looked over again.
Skarner banned away. Just taking that one off the rip. ROX do not want to deal with that. Banned it on red, banned it on blue. And then the Olaf as well. Don't want that available as a first pick for Song 1.
Sejuani priority, definitely going to be jumping up in the case of things like Skarner and the Olaf being taken away. And we didn't quite get Zac versus the Sejuani in the first series. Very real chance we'll see it in the second. Mowgli decided to go more aggressive, and while he was not a primary reason for the victory, played well. If ROX Tigers are setting up what they're setting up for first pick. The Azir is a possibility when you see the Rise ban. The Taliyah to return to is possible, but I would like a more coherent draft around the Taliyah, as Taliyah was a bit of a passenger in our first game. And Taliyah's certainly served up to be a first pick here after the Azir ban as well.
There's also some uncharacteristic Weaver's walls being thrown in there by Lava. Didn't really deny or set up for objectives as much as we've seen from him in the past. But, well, you asked the question, and you got your answer. Yes, the Scion will be first picked by the ROX Tigers. Whether or not it's going to be a flex for them, not sure. but seems highly likely that it will be there for Linderong in the top lane. As it'll just be Sedge for Mowgli.
Sejuani Xayah is certainly something they can go for here, and they do lock in the Xayah. So we'll be returning to Xayah Rakan. ROX have already shown they like to play Kalista, and Sangyu may be smiling on the screen, but I don't know about Kalista Rakan here as a takeaway. Haven't been impressed with Kalista on this patch. Has some things that make her situationally stronger, but she's so poor after the start that making the Kalista work is eluded, and we will see it anyway. So it could just be Kalista Rakan here if ROX Tigers do want to contest Xayah Rakan.
Well, given the amount of engages we saw from Tucson there.
It's Thresh or Rakan here for Key, I believe. See what he decides on.
Still thinking it over.
Leona chance as well to follow the Rakan.
Yeah, massive amount of lockdown, but seems like it's going to be the Thresh. They're going to go for the classic bot lane. They're not going to be denying the Lovers duo away here from the side of the Afreeca Freecs.
So you kind of wonder why Kalista, because everything was up. Everything. Varus was up, Caitlyn was up, Tristana was up. Kind of a weird priority unless they're really going to focus on early to mid game and ensuring that they can get a lead there. And judging on game one, it would take a pretty significant change in ideology. Sangyun very clearly was pulling a fast one off, saying that he didn't think they would see any Kalista in the future because they're solo making sure that we see more and more Kalista.
Gonna bring it out whenever he can. But into the second round of bans, Camille gonna be the first thing off the board here by the Afreeca Freecs. We saw this on the blue side, so nothing changing yet.
I'd like to see a Gnar ban come through from the side of ROX Tigers, because if I'm Afreeca, I draft the Gnar, see what happens, and then try to get a really good matchup for Kuro with the final pick. Keen hasn't been prizing the counter pick in recent months compared to his times on Ever8 Winners, and that might be because that team had such lean fortunes rather than necessarily he being the one-note carry player that he appeared to be in that season. They're definitely leaving open their opinion that's going to be a mid lane Scion with these top lane bans.
Yeah, Vladimir yet again, twice in a row, banning that one away, and then Shen will be the final. Interesting.
So I think either Corki or the Gnar are the kind of picks I'm looking for here. The Gnar was the one I mentioned because lanes fine into Scion and gives Kuro the counter pick. The Corki, if you want to just pick a safe mid laner, that can always be fine, and they will give Kuro the final pick. So now action onto ROX, looking for jungle and a solo lane. Will we see a Volibear and the full mid game comp? That'd be pretty hype.
Good, haven't seen it yet. It's been very popular over in North America.
Seems like it will be a top lane Scion. Do we see the Talia just being hovered? And no, they're going to keep their options open. It's going to be a big knock-up party for sure, though, with the first 4 champions, all of them being able to launch people airborne. ROX want to finally decide on where this Scion is going. They seem like they're just judging it themselves as to what they want to do. After a lot of consideration, they seem to once again be cementing themselves on a top lane Scion. And they finally do confirm it. Not a lot of siege on this comp, so it seems like Talia largely for the power of the pick. Very hard to make siege work with a Kalista now that she has such short range. It feels like one of the comps that needs to always fight. ROX Tigers played a comp like this with Galio in the first series last time out and lost to MVP, so gonna have to be very narrow in execution. What does Kuro want to play in the mid lane? Does he play Kassadin again?
Yeah, I think
Why
he
not?
might. Already ran it in and had a pretty good result.
Hey!
But okay.
Now that's another pick that's very strong against Talia. Kuro runs back one of his old favorites. He seems to want to get spicy. He doesn't want to scale up on the Kassadin. He wants to get in the face of lava and overtake some of these other peoples, because with a big enough performance, maybe the MVP leader at the end of the night will be Kuro.
He's certainly going to be making a case for it here with the LeBlanc lock-in. Quite some time, LeBlanc very much fallen away from priority. With this matchup, Kuro, he's feeling it. He can run the Kassadin. Expect that he can probably run just about everything else in his wheelhouse to success here against this Talia.
It's a risky time to pick the LeBlanc in this particular case. LeBlanc will still be going for the traditional build. There's been no rework on patch 8.4, so Gunblade is expected. will find it very hard to puncture through a Scion in team fights and in a side lane. And usually you go Gunblade, teleport, and side lane away on the LeBlanc. A trade farm perhaps, but not 100% sure there is the same reliability of the LeBlanc as in other games in this new Scion meta. But it still does mean a very hell of a laning phase to be navigated for Lava.
Already rough times there. Again, uncharacteristic performance from him. With that, Talia has been nothing but clean up until that last game for the most part. So we'll see if he can get back on the horse, or Kuro is going to go ahead and dismount him yet again. Now with the LeBlanc, already has the Kassadin win under the belt. Trying out something else. Another old one being brought to the forefront of the meta as Kuro looks to take the sole possession of #1 spot here for our MVPs. Let's see if he can get it. Let's see if ROX can get themselves a win. Stop this losing streak that they're starting to go on as we jump onto the Rift for game number 2. A little more clear that time around. And like nice little end cheer that we had going on. Kuro's going to face check. Tusin's here with him. Take a bit of damage, and here's 4 members as the hook comes down. They get the connection onto Tusin. He'll pop up too. As he tries to get out of there, Ignite taking away. Heal comes down. He'll barely stay alive with 1 HP, just about left. One more hit would have finished him off, and ROX, they're chasing in. Ren being used. Aiming gonna die. Red volley comes through. Hill will fall. Kuro gets the chain down. Hook connects in. Mowgli falls, and oh boy, this is one hell of a way to start off the game. ROX Tigers have 2 kills.
The Fiesta at level 1. Very weird to see the full-on face check. They could have disengaged at any moment.
Welcome to the circus.
I don't know if Kuro had already skilled, but he threw out a chain. You would have thought he could just W away if necessary, and they give up a lot, making this play a kill onto the Scion, a kill onto the Talia, and all of it avoidable, but for the Afreeca Freecs.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, ROX Tigers finding themselves with 3,500 gold already to start off the game. And every single person on the team got at least 1 assist.
Now, not spent, but it does mean the first item purchases will
Actually,
be...
I think everybody got 100% kill participation on that.
They did, and everyone will have a very nice first back timing. They can take it much earlier or with a bigger bounty, thanks to the gold they've been able to pick up. So it's not felt in the laning phase. Looking at summoners, a lot of flashes are used. 4 out of 5, only the jungler on the side of ROX.
The Afreeca bot lanes, they're done. They don't have any.
And mid lane and top lane, the solo laners for Afreeca do have their summoners. And that means that the level 2 is certainly going to be respected. Calista Thresh already very dominant when it comes to skirmishing, but the level lead is going to be a complete surrender for the lovers. Their love has been answered. It's been found wanting in this particular game.
They found a better power couple.
Zoned away. One day they'll pick up some CS. It's going to take a long time.
Well, here we go. Finally starts pushing in, but they still have to be wary of these hooks coming down here from Key. So they'll just grab the minion for now.
We're not going to get a replay of level 1 as far as I can tell. The reason why Afreeca opted into that trade is because it was a W start coming through from Aiming and Tucson. They looked for the deadly plumage to allow them to have an insane level 1 power spike, but they were so out of position. They were never able to. There's a huge advantage for the defending team on a face check like that, and this wasn't necessary. Seemed like the call from Kuro when they got the extra information was to go in and actually aggress, but
that's a good win rate.
And that's why we get hyped about the LeBlanc from Kuro, but he's definitely going to have to warm up in this particular game. They've given the enemy team a start. Ultimate Hat and Transcendence, interestingly, are the choices in Sorcery.
Oh
and,
boy.
ROX Tigers are looking to pile on here.
Yeah, looking for this level 3, level 4
summoners.
dive.
No summoners other than Ignite, so...
And they're not going to find it. Tucson and Aiming go ahead and they kite back, and now we'll be pushing into the turret to clear out the wave. Tucson goes in, gets the pop-up onto 1. They'll get the root on a Songyu, and Ignite comes down. They're trying to finish him off, and they will. Tucson finds the killing blow. Great turnaround from these guys who are just about to get dove on.
And Tucson is such a monster. Could have picked up the MVP in game 1, but they just turn onto Songyun. Let's kill him where he stands. That was unbelievable given how the lane was going. They were just zoned off a minion wave by the enemy jungler into it, that the jungler was gone. They didn't even have vision of the Jarvan and kill him where he stands. Big mistake in the laning phase by previously their most robust laner, and now Key going to be pushed out of lane as well.
Yeah, working him low, forcing him back behind the turret as they go ahead, clear out this wave. Still going to be down a bit in CS is aiming. But now with the assist under his belt, it's going to be clawing it back a little bit. We'll take another look at this.
Kalista has heal, remember, through all of this. Walks up for an auto onto the turret, which never would have led to anything. Full rotation comes through, the only summoner up, the Ignite, and he's dead. No value from the W there.
Wow.
That was just completely atypical of what we usually get from Songyun. We said the rest of the team had grown up around the reliable bot lane. Now the reliable bot lane stops there being just the overwhelming lead for ROX Tigers in the early game. Suddenly, it's only 400 gold, and suddenly there's going to be a summoner lead on Afreeca coming a little bit more time.
Yep, have shrunk that one down to about 500 so far here. So really good stuff there by Tucson. Get them back into this game here for the moment.
We're being glass half full, because that's how Casa should be, but it was pretty shocking by Songyun.
Oh yeah,
It was really bad. QMax coming through from the LeBlanc. Don't see that very often. But back to QMax here.
Going for the sigil.
Just going for lane control in the early game. I guess W gets yourself into a lot of trouble against a Taliyah because you W forward and you get one rotation of damage. The Corrupting Potion will need to be used. Must admit, I've never been a big LeBlanc player because she's intimidatingly scary when it comes to mechanics. So I just avoid that and play something with less skill shots.
That's why you are a Scion player.
Yeah.
Your skill shot is your ult and you just run down a lane.
I hit it half the time, okay? And by hit it, I mean my own turret as I get back to it.
Or the wall that you're trying to drift around. Not all of us can steer like Khan.
No. But mid lane control will be there just because of the matchup. Early game. It's a kind of a snowball, non-magic mantle in many ways, which is a bit of a frustrating point for Kuro, as first items are circumvented. Lava walks up. We'll wait and see if this is actually going to be the Ludens this time, because there is no first item tier. Scion ultimate.
Just going back.
Anticlimactic as always.
Yep. And he has arrived. Train has rolled into the station. So, yeah, not going to have any really exciting Scion ultimates for a little while here. Because charging down the mid lane to try to hit the LeBlanc is going to be a bit challenging when the distortion is up. Songwon, however, moving forward, looking to take away this blue buff and hand it off to Lava. Seems like he'll be able to do so. As Mowgli is up towards that top side of the map. So, free blue buff over to this Taliyah. Be a nice takeaway for him.
And right play style from ROX. They have a skirmishing advantage in basically every role except for the mid lane in the early game. So roaming early and trying to punish the enemies the way they want to go. Nidoran doesn't have ultimate.
Yeah, he's just going to go ahead and get flashed immediately. They'll get a bit of a lockup on him, a little bit of damage in, but otherwise no kill. In the meantime, down bot box comes in. But Songyun is the one getting punished yet again. Going extremely low. Had to pop the flash in that exchange.
Aiming out of mana, so no ability to actually confirm the kill. But a CS lead to Songyun because of the level 1 zoning away, but every trade after that not going to be shining on what should be a very powerful 2v2.
Oh, do we want to try this one again?
Once more with feeling, I guess.
Well, Tucson's just going to go over the wall. Flag and drag not going to find him. So it seems like they'll be fine, and if history repeats itself, it means Songyun's going to die in about 10 seconds. It seems like he'll be okay this time around.
Not pronounce his death too early. Goes back and buys recurve bow, but also the Ninja Tabi to show a bit of respect. Early purchases of the attack speed, mentioned a couple of times this week, are even better than they were before because attack speed items scale on base attack speed. So while he'll be in more threat range, as shorter range, extra attack speed does mean that he can walk up and get a lot of value at 1 and 2 items. And 2-item Kalista is when ROX is strongest. They have a lot of early damage. Their champions are much stronger in the early skirmishes than true 5v5s as the game goes on. So that's one thing they want to attack Afreeca. Before there's 2 items on aiming, before there's Zeke's convergence, before things can really be snowballed away. And Songwon even gets his own blue buff. Start making some visits, getting some value out of his Cataclysm.
Outside of the early shenanigans, it's going to go down to a much more standard pace between these squads. Gaming still behind by about 20 CS. Still sticking in there pretty decently despite the 2 kills given away at the start of the game.
Didn't mention, but Linderong has gone Comet in top lane Scion because he's against Gnar. Won't be able to glacially augment the Gnar very much unless he's in Mega Gnar form, and then probably wants to keep his distance. So
even then, it's, yeah.
You go Comet, and then when it's against Mini Gnar, you actually chunk him pretty good. You forget that he's basically a ranged AD carry, a bit of a Teemo-style champion when he's in the Mini Gnar form. ROX turn on. They try to increase the pace of the game necessary with a draft like they have. No Gunblade yet on the LeBlanc, so no real threat, and thus they turn on. They would have loved and prized an Ocean, don't get one. Look to turn on to Tucson.
Fate's all going to come through. Hook not going to land, though. It was a nice play to deny the dash away. Just can't quite follow up for the kill, but Ocean. Cloud Drake does come through.
On a patch 8.5 Cloud, the in-combat Cloud.
Yeah, still going to be out of combat, so not going to be the most desirable pickup for these guys. Kuro's just going to be nearly clearing out the wave. Casually sidesteps the seismic shove, goes back in, maybe looking for a play here on a Lava. Lockdown comes through, nice cleanse from Lava. Does take himself back out, but Mowgli just needs one more hit, and the red buff will help burn him down. Now he's stuck in the Cataclysm, but Songwon goes forward, looks for it. Kuro dashes back in, and maybe Songwon's going to get punished for this one. Couple more hits there with the Sigil, flash in. Shield comes down from the W, but Kuro gets it in the end. And that's going to be double buffs onto a LeBlanc.
Kuro's hungry for the double buffs and the double MVP. He's really popping off in this game. Outplay Among outplay his Lava. Played with his food for too long. Songwon was just too far away by the time he came involved. His ultimate in vain. And speaking of
goes
ultimates,
in, gets a pop-up TP coming in from the side. Key throws down the box, throws out the hook, but it doesn't matter. Tucson will take that last turret shot, but without the Ren going through, he will be fine. And just like that, Afreeca, they're in the driver's seat of this game. They are dictating the pace, and they're looking to take first brick and bot.
But plays like the level we're seeing makes it feel like they're playing with their food a little bit after giving away 2 kills in the early game, a bit of making the game harder to really get any feeling, to get the pulse racing. This was a sick play from Kuro. Most people do not go back in. He snaps back at the right point. A red buff would have killed the mid laner there, so I'm not sure why Songwon used his ult. Outplays the flash, and the EQ doesn't go through because of the ordering.
The Dragon Strike also, I believe, just missed.
It did. And that's why
right out of range.
Kuro walks up. Remember, it's Q-Max, so more damage going to be coming through from the LeBlanc. She profits with double buffs, and the mid laner now is going to be, certainly going to be unhappy. He's dead again.
He's just going to go ahead and face check, much like Kuro did at the start of the game. I think a little bit of damage there onto Mowgli, but otherwise he gets punished, and Mowgli finds himself his 2nd kill.
Lava has really performed against a lot of our better mid laners, but he's getting schooled by Kuro. He's saying, go back and find a way to get up to my level. Kuro is really flexing in a way that is a pleasure to watch. He looked way better on Afreeca Freecs when it came to being a true carry in 2017. In 2018, after already winning the regular season MVP, joint with BDD in summer season, he's gotten to another level, even higher than before.
I mean, he really is kind of a, an individual at this point. It sounds harsh to say, but on ROX Tigers in 2016, he was kind of just the, well, okay, I won't use that phrasing. That would sound bad. He was kind of just like a secondary performer for that squad.
So then, of course, you judge by what you see on the Rift, and you say, well, of course, he's just a role player. His role on Afreeca Freecs changed to being carry, and he shows that he was playing a role. Speaking of roles...
Well, it's going to be the face call coming through. They toss him in. Weaver's Wall comes in. It's going to be shorted, so can't cut them off, but they have the lockdown, and they will be able to kill aiming. Cataclysm comes through. Tucson looking to go back in with the quickness, but he's just going to get popped by Songyu there with the Ren. And Afreeca Freecs do get punished in the end, 4-5. As ROX Tigers keep things nice and tight-knit.
I keep it bloody as well. We're seeing a lot of kills in this game. That was a great roam timing by ROX. They were able to collapse in the bot side. Top lane has been an island in this game outside of the kill involvement for Linderong at the level 1. And first turret of the game, against the run of play, goes to the side of ROX Tigers.
They're kind of seesawing back and forth here. They will take that as the gold falls within 200 of both of these squads. So still insanely close, could turn either way. Already seen that Afreeca have been making some good plays despite being at a disadvantage.
I need to start grouping here, ROX Tigers, because that's one of the ways you can trivialize the power of the LeBlanc. If her only target is the Scion in the front line, he will not have the ability to get any assassinations. Speaking of assassinations.
Let's get the connection there on the Songwon, not who they wanted. They wanted to try to get Lava while that cleanse was still down, but can't quite get it. J4 just gonna take that one to the face.
If Kuro is able to play a 1v1 against anyone other than Scion, even Scion going full armor and not having a lot of health, he is gonna win it. You really want to group if you're the side of ROX.
We don't need
Take
to see
advantage
this.
of your comp as he gets hit. That's so awesome. He got interrupted by the Mimic there. That's another next level play by Kuro.
That's amazing.
Holy crap.
Oh, Kuro's great. Kuro's great.
He's really great. That was sick play by Kuro. Purposefully interrupting the ultimate and stopping him getting back to lane. Great to see.
He wasn't even that far away, but I feel like that still must have tilted Linderong a little bit.
Definitely. Definitely.
So, he gets the wave moving, not as quickly as he would like, so not going to be denying as much CS away from Keep.
Finally, we know the counter pick to Scion. It's
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc. Not
There
until
you
the
go.
pre-rework.
Yeah. Kuro is just so far ahead of everybody else.
I mean, he's definitely playing the four-dimensional chess today. But it may be in vain. Again, there is a way for ROX to play around the 5v5 early to slow down the onslaught of the LeBlanc. And they're controlling vision really well on the bot side, as we don't need to watch this lane. It's boring. It's
Look at the way he hopped.
Look at their identical bone plating second wind that we don't even know for sure, but definitely is there.
We have to check out, you know, the leap got buffed on the Gnar. We have to see, you know, maybe the damage is high enough to actually have a kill threat on the Scion.
He actually feels good about the fact that he had the level 1 sweeper, because he could range check the brush, that if he had walked up with the secondary, a level 9 sweeper, would have definitely got him in trouble. Afreeca walking out. They don't want to give up a free Drake this time. But if it turns into a true 5v5, we've already said a couple of times we like what Afreeca can do.
Reaper's wall coming in, Mowgli stuck on the other side. ROX comes in, Fate's Call gonna try to drag him out. He won't get out of there safely, but they all have already lost Lava. Now looking for more. Key gets rooted. Massive Feather Recall coming through there from aiming. Helps take him down as Keen finds the kill. Pushes Scion into the wall. Linderong is not tanky enough yet. Just a matter of time while he goes down. Songwon trying to flag and drag his way out of here. Running up the lane. And the enemy territory will be taken down by this turret.
Goodbye, Kuro World!
As Kuro, see, true Scion counter, gets the kill.
And
Finishes
someone
him off.
did his best to do an Untara, but unfortunately, he'd taken damage from Gnar. Too recently, he dies as well. This is what we call a better team outclassing another team here, because the Afreeca Freecs walk up.
Super aggressive with Lava as well.
This is when ROX are at their strongest. This is when they should be fighting. They just get outfought by all the mobility. Kuro able to get Lava down first in the fight. Meant there was no value from Talia. Double ult there. The scoop onto Songwon solidifies his fate. He doesn't take any damage after here, but does end up dying to the turret and giving the kill credit to the Gnar. I probably feel bad about that, a little bit salty, as Kuro's going full solo queue, looking to pad his stats.
Yep, does have that Gunblade completed. Lost Chapter going to follow up off the backside of that. Songyun just trying to get as much attack speed as he can. 3 daggers in the inventory here.
It's
But,
amazing how
yeah.
good Afreeca Freecs have been. This season in general, we couldn't have known that they would lose their primary shot caller.
Ignoring the level 1, of course.
No, I'm talking about the season in general,
Yeah.
but losing their primary shot caller, and previously Spirit was the one who stepped up for shot calling. I wonder who it is in this particular game. I know Kuro will definitely have a big voice, because he's going to initiate with damage.
Maybe Kuro and Tucson?
You'd have to think that Tucson would be a big voice as well, but with Spirit gone, they're able to keep up some very tight play.
Oh.
Nice turn on the mid lane, trying to take a turret.
Yeah, we'll be able to knock this one down. Collapse not fast enough here from the Afreeca Freecs. So Kuro will lose out onto that. And ROX Tigers hovering around this north side of the map. Maybe Rift Herald, something that they're going to look for. No, actually, it's going to be the Xayah aiming. Goes up with the Feather Storm, but now the Weaver's Wall's there. He'll flash over to the side. Seismic Shove immediately catches him on the other side. He'll go down, but at the same time, Songyun has been finished off by Mowgli. ROX Tigers going back in. Cataclysm locks down 2. Tucson dashes away out. And he is just going to lock him in. Another knockup comes in, but the hook comes through, and Tucson will get punished in the end. A couple bits of shield coming down will delay his fate, but inevitable in the end. Key will pick up that kill.
We'll almost kill a minute, but remember through all of this, Keen couldn't join and is just trying to take turrets in the bot side to answer, so outnumbering. Very nice ultimate by Linderung, understanding that they could trap Aiming, who used his flash through all of this and will be down that summoner in the next fight. Kuro didn't have enough consistent damage to get any kills at the start, but uses the Mimic.
He's wrapping around the back. He knows that Songwon is dangerously low. Dashes in, the play comes down. Shield comes in from the W, but Songwon's still going to die as Mowgli finds the kill. Just too risky to stick around and try to finish off Key. However, no minion wave. They will kite back.
Might be a Ludens of his own coming through from the LeBlanc here, going to a very old build. And bringing that one back. Second item, Power Spike, but so much value loaded into the Lost Chapter. We're going to see the replay. Able to catch Songyun through all of it. He's locked up. He's taken out, so it was an 80 carry for 80 carry trade at the start that we missed on screen. After that, short on damage for Kuro, who's been razor sharp on his chains in this game, and hitting that chain has proven a lot of the benefit here. We will not be seeing this iteration of LeBlanc for much longer, so every time we see it, it could be the last, and that is a shame for the mastery level we're seeing from Kuro. Looking to go 21-3 with a victory here in his career on LeBlanc.
Can add to that already very significant win rate that he has accrued for himself. Afreeca, though, despite losing out on Aiming, and Tucson will be able to maintain this lead here for the moment. 2.7 thousand, 2.6 thousand gold here for the time being. Baron's up. He was dead this time around in the game one, but not to be here.
And while we've been, in the midst of a very action-packed game, remember how we analyzed the comps at the start. We said that ROX were front-loaded in their power. We've already seen Kalista peter out very early in games recently. The front-loaded start kind of ends around 30 minutes, ends around the Zeke's Convergence and the Infinity Edge being complete from Aiming, and those items are starting to inch in. The LeBlanc is allowing them to fight, even when the enemy team is at its strongest. There's 2 items on Keen. The Sejuani is close to a Warmogs.
Pitch here onto Linderung. Dash away from Kuro, avoiding that slam. Linderung will flash. Hyper almost takes him down, but it's not quite enough.
Ultimate was interrupted, I believe, by Kuro, just with his face.
Yeah, I think they might have just jumped to the other side to stop that charge.
Pretty hard to get away if LeBlanc gets into melee range.
Oh,
you
yeah.
just opt into it, and the damage on the instant cast is very, very low. Now returns to bot side. Keen.
Plus no real stun duration either.
He's done basically nothing this game, but still is 2-0-1 and a 60 CS lead over the Scion. So the Gnar blind pick, not knowing the role of the Scion, has worked out for the side of Afreeca.
Now just going to start pressuring this bot tier 2. But with the transformation, doesn't want to be pushing into melee range, so we'll go ahead and just get some vision down in that side of the jungle. Valdrake still standing, no one bothering to really go for it ever since that Baron has joined us here on the Rift. Afreeca are playing very far forward in the jungle of the ROX Tigers.
Have a lot of respect if the LeBlanc is
Here we
around.
go.
Who's pinching who, Achilleos?
4v3, TP now coming in to try to equalize this. Linderung will arrive, doesn't have the ulti yet. Kuro dashes to the side, Aiming. Honest Lonesome has to go up. Tucson goes in, gets a double knockup in the back line. Now TP coming through, but Aiming has been popped as Lava finds the first kill. Songwon going low, Kuro goes in, gets the chain, but it's not enough to finish him off, and now he gets popped up, has to flash away, barely evades the hook. Afreeca try to make the play, but they lose their ADC for it.
They just don't have the ability to rotate with Keen, whose teleport was down, so they couldn't fight 5v5, and like you say, Aiming's been popped a couple of times at the start of a fight. This time it will finally lead to a turret to be picked up, and matching the outer turrets going down. Till we continue our pace, almost kill a minute, 18-23. Gold lead is slight for the Afreeca Freecs. They need to find a way to actually force a fight on more even terms. They're trying to assassinate Kuro.
Looking for it, seismic shove will catch him as he tries to dash away into the hook. And Kuro will just go down. Songyun finds the kill.
They want Baron.
Have a very healthy Kalista, and it could just be a turn on to Baron.
They're definitely looking like they're going to be setting up for it. Right now, Sejuani is alive. They don't start it instantly, and teleport is up on the LeBlanc. They're starting it up.
This for days. And Keen just got exhausted, so he's not going to have the transformation for the Mega Gnar. Weaver's Wall comes in. Mowgli and Aiming both cut off. Those Ren stacks are starting to build up. Key is the one getting chunked down to about half HP, though, as he tanks this up here with the Thresh. He jumps in, looking for lava on the backside of the fight, but he takes a lantern into the pit to try to stay alive. Now they're moving forward. Baron going low. Ren could just come through at any time. They're trying to take control, but he actually steals it away. Mowgli, are you kidding me? Against the smite, against the Red, manages to find it. Now Keen finds the kill, finds a double. They get another one for aiming as he finishes off Key. And ROX Tigers, it was their one hope. It was surefire, but that man on your screen throws it out the window.
Massive steal comes through from Afreeca. Now they're going to roll through the mid. They're going to break the base first. How could it happen? We couldn't see when the rend was used. 500 health for the smite. The rend calculation off or not used at all. We'll wait for the replay. Maybe he was CC'd at the exact perfect time. But Afreeca Freecs steal one away from the side of ROX Tigers.
It all just crumbles. Sand going through the hands just of the ROX Tigers. Everything disintegrating in front of their very eyes. The Baron, a great call after getting the call, the pick there onto LeBlanc.
Let's watch the replay and inspect the rend. So still putting in the spears, makes sense. The ult had gone away. When is the rend used by Songyun? 2800, 2100, 1700, 1500. Watching the number here. He just never rends.
He just never used it. I couldn't tell if he was CC'd, but
yeah, it just looks like a mistake, honestly. It got too low. Yeah. It should never be at 500
he had so many Ren stacks in there.
Bizarre. Bizarre is all we can say about that one. Maybe it can be scrutinized by someone else, but to our eyes, it seems like just a straight-up mistake from Songyun. They're going to put faith in the rend, which every team should at competitive level. Did not work out.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, suddenly, we're even closer to a kill a minute, 16-8.
And the Bannon's here out of nowhere. Picked up Banner of Command instead of going for the Zeke's Convergence because, well, maybe he anticipated this happening.
Well, you named the last one Shelly, so we'll name this one Herald.
Bit on point.
Herald's the superior name anyway.
Well, it's going to roll down the Bannon, and they're looking for a gank. This is what you do. You force a fight. But Keen has his teleport.
Wrap around the side. You can hear the
When is he going to TP?
In. He's looking for Tucson, who's just going to sidestep that one very swiftly. Now he's looking for an entrance perhaps here on the fight. Quickly comes down. Does not get to pop up there on the lava, but he dashes his way out to safety. His goal has to be used to keep Keys alive.
Keen is still pretty low on the Mega Narc.
Gets the hook there onto Keen, but can't finish him off. He's got the Guardian Angel as well. So no real picks coming through. Nobody goes down. Very extended skirmish as each side tries to get some catches, but they can in the end.
So it's eventually going to provoke a back off because the mid lane minions are going to push in. The super minions push.
Honestly, I think it was the best dodge of 2018 by Tucson, just casually walking down.
All a bit too easy when the Scion is your primary engage, so very easy to look silly there. Not ulting to a lane for once, so a lot more conspicuous and missing. Keen just stays around the super minions in mid lane to slow down the wave clear coming through from ROX as Afreeca tried to break the base in a second spot. Keen building up the Mega Narc for this.
Cannon minion here coming through. Tucson goes in deep, and they are just going to assassinate Songwon, the first one to fall, now focusing in onto the turret. They'll take this one with ease and look for their second inhibitor here of the game. Kuro looking for the chain, finds it on the Songyun, but gets played in and has to go ahead and take his way out of there. Dangerously low. There's the LeBlanc, so he makes it out to safety.
Level
Afreeca
1
Freecs.
Sounds like so long ago, Achilleos. They've been able to turn it around in such a severe fashion. If they were to win pre-30 minutes, which looks like they won't, but to win pre-30 minutes after giving up 2 kills in the manner that they did, straight up taking a bad fight that they didn't even need to take. They just decided to play with their food early and got burned for it. Back off, pick up the Cloud Drake, which is going to be largely meaningless in this game. It doesn't even spawn the Elder because of the timing. We'll get another Drake spawn. An Ocean at 34 minutes, oh my. But they'll back off.
Beautiful.
They'll have their items ready to go. Now the Zeke's Convergence there along with the Banner that was already purchased by Tucson. And now the damage is too much to bear. One rend, or lack of rend, is why ROX Tigers find nothing from their first 29 minutes of play. And now we're just waiting for Afreeca, who have successfully outscaled the side of ROX to close the game.
Shoutouts to Keen. I gotta give it to him. Did very briefly have the Flame Horizon over Linderong before he just caught that wave. It'd be easier for him to catch up as they have all these super creep waves pushing into the base. but has been a good performance by Keen so far here on this NAR. 4-0-4. Been absolutely crushing it. So nicely done by him.
Tutorial victory being attempted by Afreeca. They don't have the inner turret and top lane claimed yet. That's not one you can test if you're the side of ROX. You don't even get time to contest it.
Nope.
Big damage coming through from aiming.
Can't even get in range of a hook.
Nope.
Before that turret goes down. So now full court press basically going to be coming through here from the Afreeca Freecs. They have the super creeps down in the bottom side with Keen poking in mid.
Really not being a fan of Taliyah as just a power pick in this comp because it's a bit tone deaf with how little synergy there is between Taliyah and the Kalista. Now, Taliyah Tristana, then I get really excited, but unfortunately, it's not a Caitlyn or something like that. We're really seeing very little value out of the Taliyah. We know Lava's a great Taliyah player, but she's just been an onlooker for the majority of this game, looking for a final inhibitor turret.
Definitely been an off performance from him so far through the series. Afreeca going to be looking to crack this mid-inhib yet again. Running it down to about half. Girl poking in from the side, gets a lockdown here onto Lava, almost bursts him. And that is going to be enough room there for them to push forward and finish off that inhib yet again. And now Afreeca Freecs will just rotate up, bring the wave forward, and look to crack that final one in the top lane.
That burst rotation is off cooldown as well. Such is level 16 LeBlanc. Have to be respectful here as Lava Flash is now down. The minion wave is far away, so it's probably just going to be an inhibitor and then back away. Baron spawning in 25 seconds. Steel, the reason that they've been able to find so much of a lead in the last 7 minutes before 6 minutes, I should say, with the Baron buff being so important and pivotal to this game. Rageblade Kalista to try to puncture through a front line, but she won't have enough time, unfortunately. The LeBlanc big enough to threaten everyone, even the Scion, when it comes to frontline damage. And understandably, ROX have taken the approach of stacking armor and health and trying to ignore the LeBlanc. It gets harder and harder when the LeBlanc is just quite this big.
Yeah, he does a lot of damage. Void Staff there, extra blasting one on top. Now Afreeca looking for the gank brush. Trying to pull this one off.
Someone can definitely guess where the enemy team is.
He's got a rough idea of what could be happening, but they'll just go ahead and start this one up. Crow showing in the mid lane right now.
A lot of Baron damage.
Yep.
It's not going to be
Plenty of
contested.
it. Don't even need multiple people. Just going to be the two coming through here, aiming in both leads. Be able to burn this one down. Banner of Command's ready to go. So we can go ahead and get another major minion coming through for the Afreeca Freecs.
You see the difference when Afreeca's in control, Baron looks like a trivial objective. They've been fantastic at the neutral shot calls all season. They've been super clinical around them, which again is big compliments to a team. And we've seen other teams try to replace a primary shot caller and find it very difficult. They have a lot of veterans, they have a lot of players who've been around the scene a long time, so maybe they have that going for them, but you have to compliment a team that ostensibly took a loss and have turned that lemon into lemonade, and that sweet lemonade is looking like top 3 for the side of Afreeca Freecs.
The Scion ulting, but Linderung just stops the turret. Well, Kuro bringing in the Baron-empowered super creeps here into the bottom side. He's going to juke out on that seismic slam.
Removes the
Shove,
Banshee Veil
rather.
from Lava. In the same time, they tank up. Happily going to take the final inhibitor turret of the game.
Turret going to go down. Inhibitor going to follow. Bot one just has respawned, but Kuro is already working on that one. Flash in for the flag. He finds it. Kuro will be making it out with his life. So flash for flash blown, but LeBlanc's still going to be healthy and can poke right back into the base where
They need to get on this
the
Bannon
Nexus
as
turrets
well.
are already weakened. Key's going to get locked down. The chain comes through, and it's just going to be another kill as Kuro auto attacks Sunthresh to death. This should just be the end of the game here. 33.5 minutes.
Sungin gets the rend on that one. Needed it on the Baron, though.
Yeah, just finish that one off. That's going to be engaged. Tucson goes in. Double pop-up into the stun from Keen. Knocks him straight into the wall. And all the members of ROX Tigers try to retreat, but they'll all get taken down systematically. A double kill to finish here for the side of Aiming. And a 2-0, another one on the day, as the Afreeca Freecs maintain their third place spot, try to get a bit closer to KT Rolster. And ROX Tigers now looking like they might be falling down the standings.
We entered into this match day thinking, okay, KT Rolster definitely set up for success on patch 8.4, and your first thought about Afreeca would have been the same, but you need to confirm it with your own eyes, and Afreeca passed the eye test with flying colors. Game 2 was a bit closer than they would have liked after an early game that was a fiesta for certain, but they do take the Baron after a mistake. Honestly, that's all you can call it. A mistake came through from the side of the enemy. Kalista, Songyun understandably crushed on the side of ROX Tigers, and while one team's title aspirations go to another level, unfortunately for ROX, the 0-4 joins their peril next to SKT, now only one series ahead, and their game score falling away.
Well, at least a smile on the face of the coach as he enters the booth, realizing that it was a bit of a silly circumstance that led to them losing that game. Hopefully Songyun doesn't beat himself up too much. But the Afreeca Freecs gotta be feeling pretty good as they further solidify their spot here near the top of the standings in LCK.
And suddenly, SKT versus ROX, it will take place in the final 2 weeks of the season. It's looking like must win, but the opportunity just to make it to playoffs. If SKT do win 2-0, we get very close because the game score will be answered and their head-to-head will be 2-2. There might even have to be some semblance of a best-of-1 match to break a tiebreaker as the end of the week approaches us. Looking at the schedule here, we will have SKT versus ROX Tigers coming next week. Be very interesting to see. But regardless, we'll close up here. Side of Afreeca Freecs done all the work they needed to, and ROX Tigers plenty of questions to ask.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a VOD review here for these guys as they try to piece together. Game 2, I think, is pretty straightforward. It's just basically, hey, Songyun, you need to end. But a very odd one. Game number 2.
Actually,
from the level 1 all the way, everybody getting destroyed.
I have a second look at the schedule. Actually, SKT ended up winning both of their matches this season. I remembered the first round robin one. Very much at the start of the second round robin, SKT winning again. So head-to-head is owned by SKT. That might end up being very crucial.
Okay, we can give you a pass on that. You pass all the games, but sometimes they all just kind of blur together, you know?
They definitely do. This one, though, this one is going to be unforgettable from the level 1, and also virtuoso performance by Kuro on the LeBlanc. Very, very nice stuff there. As Afreeca Freecs go from strength to strength, they are a match behind KT, who is a match behind Kingzone. I'm ready to start seeing those teams mix it up again, Achilleos, because apparently those are the ones to really stand and be counted at the business end of the season.
And those matches, the ones that we have to be looking forward to. And again, just a week from today, will be Kingzone versus KT Rolster, our first place versus second place, unless anything changes in the time between now and then. But yeah, your MVP.
First place,
it's gonna be
baby.
First place, 800 points for Kuro. Tucson unable to pick any up, even though he did a hell of a performance on the Rakan both games. But Kuro is the one who takes sole possession of first place, forces that three-way tie for second, as he will just go ahead and top the charts. Another great performance from an older champion.
And it's just weird because his 2017 summer win is forgotten for most people. You think of BDD as the MVP, but Kuro was able to equalize his total on an Afreeca team that was a lot more middling than they are right now. But you definitely remember his spring 2018 because he has been a monster so far this season. Some great play on the LeBlanc in the early game when the rest of his team was struggling a bit more. Songyun has to take a lot of the blame for dying in the 2v2 when they were massively ahead in the laning phase of Achilleos, and then also messing up around the Baron. So you never like to single out someone too much, but both of those were pivotal in and around Kuro's great performance. And Songwon will wonder how the death timer here was still going to involve the Gnar damage, but couldn't pull off an Antara. Not as good at running it down as Antara was in that particular game.
Yeah. Couldn't quite do it. But Kuro, he got it done in the end. Getting the final catch onto Key and burst him down. And yeah, I mean, what more can you say? His LeBlanc was absolutely dirty. The team play, the combos coming through were great by the Afreeca Freecs, and Kuro wins the MVP. I'd say Tucson and Keen probably the unsung heroes in this game as well. The Gnar was very good, constantly getting the ultimates into the, terrain to force out the stunts as well.
So we're going to get a solo MVP interview with Kuro and
Another
also
one.
the coach of Afreeca Freecs. We'll see if it's common or I love Uv. But you need to send it over, Gilios.
That will do just that. So Joel, why don't you go ahead and take it over the translation for the final interview of the night.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your last translation of the night, and we're here with Afreeca Freecs, showing a very strong stance with a 2-0 victory against the ROX Tigers. And here is, we're gonna have an interview with Kuro and one of the coaches from Afreeca Freecs. 3 consecutive wins for you guys in this series. How do you guys feel?
일단 3강이라는 소리를 들으니까 이제 좀
I really feels great that we're hearing the top 3 kind of being kind of paralleled to our organization, but I feel like this season is about us, and really we're feeling like I'm becoming a main character now. I mean, big 3, top 3 right now, whatever you want to call it. Is that what you guys saw yourselves coming into the season? You know, we always strive for the top, and that's what we did before coming into the season. And there have been a lot of disappointing assets that we wanted to a little bit fix upon, and just repairing one by one. I feel like this season is just we did a lot better with that, and we're kind of hitting a curve where we're just kind of going upwards from here. It really has been a kind of a dominating performance that was shown by ROX Tigers in the past games, and I felt like in the past games where they have shown very aggressive force that you guys might have been very startled by that. And a lot of people do say that ROX Tigers is on a run. But I think, you know, I kind of remember the days when I was in ROX Tigers, when I was back there in 2016. So I got a little bit scared to, you know, really see, you know, how high they have risen in the past few games. So it was really interesting to see that. And we felt like you were kind of the bridge between ROX Tigers and the Afreeca Freecs, being in two organizations in the past. And I felt like, you know, you guys really centered around your mid lane, having that really kind of stability. I mean, I always had fun with assassin picks, and there's a point in that, and I had a lot of greed for wanting to play it in competitive, but definitely the competitive and also with the composition, it never really allowed me to play as much as I wanted to, but I'm glad the composition really allowed us today for me to play those champions. And we're going to look at a highlight here where you did pick up the triple kill, if you do remember how that happened. Let's look at it here. This might have been the decisive play in leading you guys to the victory. Did you feel like you were going to win this team fight? I mean, Fiora didn't die there, and that was the huge thing to move forward with it. And if Fiora had died there, kind of as we'd expected, it would have been difficult, but you know, after that play that went on, that little difference kind of made the win for us in that team fight. And we saw kind of the steal that was coming through. Yeah, and I know he was really going for the steal there, and we tried to focus a little bit more on the objective at hand, and try to not worry about it as much as we could. Let's go over to game 2, where you did pick out the LeBlanc, and it's kind of the pick that we will forget sometimes, that you do play it, and we do see a very nice win streak and a very nice win percentage for you on that champion. You have a really good win percentage on that champion with LeBlanc. I had no idea, to be honest. And picking that in mid lane, we didn't know what to expect, but this play right here, where you just stuck to him like glue and did not die, even with the slimmest of HP. Coach, do you not get nervous when you see plays like this? Whenever you're in a 2v2 situation, you have to be very concise in how you make the minuscule controls count, and it's something that really a proud moment as a coach for players like Kuro. And a lot of people do say that, you know, Kuro, you're a very hard-working player, but any other characters you like to add on as the coach for Kuro? The Kuro is very consistent, and he doesn't really have too much ups and downs, which makes him very viable as a professional. And he really knows how to take care of his teammate, and that really adds to the entire morale of the team. That really raises the entire condition of an organization, and that is a huge asset. And when you move forward with a team that wants to stay positive and wants to do well. And he's just basically saying that he would fit very well, meld in with any organization. That's kind of the best compliment you can give to a player. But we get to see some of the plays that have happened in Game 2 overall, but you guys gave up a kill or two, starting off the game here, and this is where it began here. And you kind of started this off to unfortunately be said. I was trying to look backwards and try to put up a fight a little bit, but yeah, you're right. It was really a bad way to start the game off, but I knew that right after this happened, we actually saw a solo kill happening. All these nice things that really allowed us to come back into the game. But yeah, definitely it was not the best start to the game. And let's talk about today's games, but ever since last weekend, you guys are really just at the top of the LCK tables. But as the coach, what is the kind of the biggest point in getting your team kind of to the top of the position at the moment? I mean, of course, picking the captain of the team, who is Kuro, and that he puts a lot of responsibility in himself to bring success to the team. But we've seen players in the past where they have not shown that same amount of responsibility that Kuro has been showing it recently, and when you just have that kind of upfront ability and really a positive attitude about leading a team to victory, I think that really is a big asset for our team. It seems like you're very kind of embarrassed by all these compliments here. Our coach does a good job of taking care of us, and I think he really thinks about all these little things to help out the team. But he's really just a caring guy, and he's not that much older than me, but he feels like a father sometimes, being a part of that organization. And what do you think about that comment right there? Regarding all the compliments, I guess if he said it, it's probably correct. And you guys are still hitting the top ranks of LCK right now, putting on a strong performance. But any last words? We always really appreciate the support, and I think that's kind of the biggest reason why we're finding so much success right now. And we know that we have a few games left over that are still very important, that we have to win those games, and we're going to try to make sure to win as many as possible for the games remaining. Anything you'd like to add on, Coach? I think it's really important that I wanted to say this in an interview and try to think about what I should say, while I get this opportunity. But I think the simplest way to say that is to be honest and to be upfront about everything, and we want to be expressive, we want to be honest, and we want to be kind of truthful in the way we present ourselves as a team. And of course, putting out aiming, it was definitely my own independent decision. And we know that the fans have been at a controversy for why Kramer has been subbed out so suddenly, and from this perspective, there were many aspects in me making that decision, but if it was a situation where Kramer was behaviorally unacceptable, I would have definitely let that out. But as soon as especially with aiming, that you have had a lot of controversy in himself, it's important that I took him in last year personally, and I looked him over. And I think one mistake that he has done in the past shouldn't describe him as a person as a whole. And for aiming, it's not an excuse anymore that he's a young player, but he's a guy that he's going to be very just strictly just focused on gaming and becoming the best professional player he can be. And I know that the fans are worried at the same time, kind of angry at the fact but I want to take the responsibility in myself as a coach and really take it responsibility for what aiming is, and beyond the person that he represents on the exterior, I want to say that to continue to support aiming as a professional player and just give me an opportunity to prove that right for you guys, and so that this decision, I will try to make sure that decision wasn't the wrong one to make. And of course, it was about aiming's controversy with his behavioral action that had happened in the past, but the coach is basically saying that he wants to take full responsibility in the decision that he wholly made to make the betterment of Afreeca Freecs organization. But that will be the conclusion of tonight's interviews, and we did end up with the Afreeca Freecs winning out 2-0, and a very nice game for them, and we're going to head it back to you guys for the rest of the interview.
I imagine that might have been a little confusing. Thank you, Joel, by the way. But yeah, TLDR, aiming did something wrong. Kramer's not subbed out because he did anything wrong. The coach just wanted to give aiming a chance and have him redeem himself.
And just so you guys know, that was their head coach, I Love Uv, one of the most famous StarCraft Brood War pro gamers of all time. You guys have seen Faker in the famous Bonjour chair. I Love Uv was a Bonjour himself.
One of the few others.
One of the few great players in the history of Brood War. So a true legend. We sometimes have the strategic coaches, that is their head coach, largely going to be about that mentorship. So saying he was the one that put up his hand to be counted on for why aiming first came into the lineup and while he'll continue to be. And honestly, you have to think he will continue to be. Afreeca Freecs are right up there. We have 3 power teams and then also teams just aspiring to be as good as Kingzone Dragon X, KT Rolster, and Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, well, Afreeca going to maintain that 3rd place spot. Very well settled in there. And coming up on Saturday, we're going to have a battle for 6th place as MVP and Jin Air square off. And given MVP's newfound form, they have been dominating and looking so very clean in the metagame and in the Baron plays from these guys. It's been a night and day transition from them. I expect to have them have the upper hand against Jin Air, but then we got KT Rolster versus KSV.
These are both 6 series because Jin Air versus MVP is almost staving off relegation with moving to 6 match wins for one of them. The second match, KSV won this week, looked better on 8.4. KT seemed to be one of our strongest teams. That's going to be title implications at the top.
The other thing is MVP, if they can get that win, if they can get it cleanly, there honestly is that chance that they can make their way into the playoffs. It's not done yet. They could make it happen, but we'll find out more on Saturday when we come back for more LCK action. Till then, you guys have a good night. We'll see you this weekend.
fly.